Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to present my suggestions for things to consider if you intend to use your drone to film and photograph crop circles. If you're unfamiliar with the subject of crop circles, then allow me to give you a very brief introduction. Crop circles are patterns that appear or are created in crop fields. The term crop circle was coined when most of those that appeared were circles of flattened corn, wheat, barley, or some other crop. As the years passed, these circles developed into complex geometric patterns and pictograms. Crop circles have appeared for tens and perhaps hundreds of years all over the world, but it was the proliferation and variety in those that appeared in southern England during recent decades that has created a huge upsurge of interest in this phenomenon. A crop circle industry has been generated. They have sparked the interest of amateur and professional researchers, the media, and the Ministry of Defence. Books, films, and lecture tours are available for anyone wanting to know more. I have included some links to useful websites in the description area below this video. Who is creating them? Well, you tell me. Personally, I don't buy the story that they are all made by hoaxers and artists. There is more to this than that. There is ample scientific evidence that suggests other forces are at work. Let's just say non-human intelligences may be involved. But enough of that for now. Here are my suggestions for how to use a drone to capture images and film. First of all, we have to adhere to the law and make safety our top priority. You can't fly over the land without the landowner's permission, and you can't fly higher than 400 feet. So your first task is to obtain permission to fly over the field. This may involve a certain amount of detective work either online or in the vicinity of the crop circle. Ask in the nearest shop or pub, or stop and ask anyone who looks like they live and work in the area. It shouldn't be too difficult to find out who the farmer is, as he or she will probably already be alerted by the buzz of activity that the crop circle generates. The landowner may also make themselves known, as they might spot the opportunity to make some money charging curious visitors a small fee for entering the field. If you can't obtain permission from the landowner of the field in which the formation appears, you might be able to take shots from an area nearby for which you have obtained permission. Once you have the required permission and you've carried out all other legal and situational awareness checks, you may begin your pre-flight checks. It's highly advisable to work with a spotter. The drone pilot can concentrate on safe operation of the aircraft and operating the camera. The spotter can keep scanning the skies in all directions for any other aircraft, manned or unmanned. The spotter can also keep a lookout for wildlife, for example hovering birds, and answer any questions posed by curious onlookers. Another thing to be aware of is the fact that some recording and other electrical equipment has malfunctioned when close to or within a crop circle. You should include this fact in your risk assessment before flight. If your drone shows any sign of abnormal flight, then land it immediately. Keep in mind that you might not be the only drone pilot operating in the area. Other pilots, with or without permission, may also be flying drones in the same airspace. Be vigilant for other aircraft of all types. Your legal limit is 400 feet, but the lowered limit for manned aircraft is 500 feet. That's a narrow margin of separation into which either of you might stray. It's also worth mentioning that military helicopters do occasionally appear to inspect crop circles. Sometimes they fly at treetop level. If you see any approaching the area, then land your drone immediately. Assuming you can fly safely with no other aircraft about, it's time to capture some footage. When you start recording, try to capture shots that reveal the crop circle. That is, fly backwards over it, so that it appears from the bottom of the footage. Fly all the way around with a camera fixed on the center, so that the formation is captured from all angles. And of course, take some shots, both stills and video, from directly above. Consider the advantages of filming and photographing the crop formation during the golden hours. That is, the hour after dawn and the hour before sunset. These times are so called because the light is often at its most atmospheric. They are also times at which there is more chance of still air and light winds. With thorough preparation and a bit of luck, you could end up with some images and film to which you retain the copyright. High-quality photos and footage can be a source of income to drone pilots, assuming you have your PFCO from the CAA or the equivalent certificate from the FAA. Now, a few words about manned aircraft. Most of the aerial images of crop circles you see online, particularly those from the 1980s, 1990s and later, were taken using helicopters, light aircraft and microlights. There are, of course, several advantages to using this method, and it is often the best option in some cases. Some of the pictograms are so large that the aerial shots need to be taken from higher than the legal limit of a drone, that is 400 feet. Also, you don't need to ask for the landowner's permission to fly over their land. If a crop circle is spotted, then there is a good chance that you and your pilot can be circling over the area within a matter of a few hours. Of course, that all depends on airspace restrictions and weather conditions. To see an example of what you can capture using a drone over an interesting site in the early morning, take a look at my video, Knowlton Church and Ceremonial Earthworks. That's all for now. I hope you found something useful in this video. Please give it a like, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel for more like this. If you have filmed or photographed crop circles, please share the links to your work in the comments below.